Tonight on KGW News, a multi-million-dollar settlement in the case of a Vancouver police officer shot and killed when he was mistaken for a suspect.
I feel like my heart has been ripped out of my chest. I'm shattered.
Plus, new at 11, hear from two hikers lost in the Gorge who had to call to be rescued.
If other people, even less experienced, go up there, they could get really hurt.
Their warning tonight after realizing what they'd read on social media led them right into danger. Then,
we've had a very rainy day today, but tomorrow and Friday, even wetter. Weather impact alert for both days.
And later, how you might say Portland's newest concert venue is inspiring the next generation of music lovers and industry all-stars.
We want young people to see themselves on stage as well as see the adult bands that they wish they could see at other clubs.
But we begin tonight with that weather impact alert, taking a live look up and down the valley and into the Cascades on this Wednesday evening as we track an atmospheric river set to bring heavy rain. We are talking inches to the Portland metro and beyond. Good evening, everyone. David Mulco here with Chief Meteorologist Matt Spino. Matt, we have already seen our first landslide in what sounds like days of rain here.
Yeah, today was day one, and the atmospheric river is well underway. We have the weather impact alert for tomorrow and Friday, because this is when the impacts will really begin to be felt. Rising rivers, you mentioned the one landslide, debris flows, we're likely to see all of that. In fact, I'll show you some of the river levels coming up a bit later, but what you need to think about, drive carefully, slow down. There's going to be a lot of standing water on the roadways, including the highways, and poorly drained areas, intersections and the like. If you get ponding in your neighborhood or on your route, normally when it rains hard, there's going to be ponding in the water, big puddles to contend with as we drive through the morning commute tomorrow. All this moisture coming up from near Hawaii, and it's aimed right into northern Oregon here. We have moderately heavy rainfall from Portland to Sandy and up into the Washington Cascades where it's really dumping. And look, it extends well out to the edge of the radar range offshore, and there's more coming inland from there. Now look at the rainfall so far just today since midnight. Nearly an inch in Portland, over an inch in Hillsborough and Scappoose already. And Tillamook is up to about 3.5 inches. So when I look at the forecast of the rainfall to come, it makes sense. We're going to be seeing probably another 2 to 3 inches in Portland, maybe 7 inches in the Cascades, 4 or 5 inches in the Gorge, and up around Kelso. So that will make the earth move if it is barren earth, doesn't have vegetation to anchor it on down. Meanwhile, up in the Cascades, check this out. There's been 26 inches of new snow at Timberline. Yeah, it's 32 degrees. It's heavy, wet snow. The passes are in good shape except for fog down at Santiam Pass right now, but the roads are basically bare. More on all of this later, David.
Yeah, a little good news there. Sounds like it's going to be a messy few days there.
Oh,
Thanks,
yeah.
Matt. All right, we mentioned that landslide is east of Corbett here, where debris came down all over the historic Columbia River Highway, shutting down a mile-long section just east of the Portland Women's Forum. This is west of Crown Point. Looks like it took out the guardrail there, too, and with all the rain in the forecast, no estimate yet from ODOT on any plan to clean this up or say anything about reopening.
I think I was starting to pass out from just the cold, and I don't know if hypothermia was setting into where I was finally starting to kind of shut down.
New at 11, two hikers say they feared they were about to lose their lives after they got lost on a dangerous trail in the Columbia River Gorge. Catherine Cook talked with both of them tonight, and Catherine, also the teenagers who came to their rescue.
And David, they all have a warning tonight. On social media, some outdoor enthusiasts have been encouraging followers to explore trails that are closed due to dangerous conditions. These hikers are thankful they're alive to warn against that idea. An afternoon hike in the Columbia River Gorge.
That was the original plan.
But for Drew Miller and his friend Joseph Barch,
we just couldn't find the trail. It was just so much underbrush.
Their Tuesday hike brought them face to face with death.
I was able to make peace with it, oddly enough, if I wasn't going to make it.
The pair were hiking the Rock of Ages trail. They admit that was mistake number one, since the trail's been closed since the Eagle Creek fire. But an Instagram post, one of several like it, suggested otherwise.
We're prepared for moderate, whatever that means, but it turns out it was very difficult.
By late Tuesday night, things really took a turn. The friends nearly fell off a 500-foot cliff as conditions got worse.
Here we go.
It didn't look good. And I know my friend was not doing well either, because he was kind of next to me to try to stay warm, but he was like shaking like crazy, and it was starting to affect his breathing. We were soaked. And then it started to snow again.
Then Drew lost his cell phone, and with just 4% power left on Joseph's phone, they called in an SOS.
If we hadn't had that cell phone ping, if his phone had died, before they had been able to call, I'm not sure how the night would have gone.
Sadie Walsh and Liam Foran are volunteers with Multnomah County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue, part of a larger crew that responded. They're just 17, but have years of training for rescues like this one.
Things like they couldn't see like where the trail was, and there's cliffs on either side, so it's definitely treacherous.
We gave them food, we boiled water for them. Dry socks make a world of difference when you can't feel your toes.
I'm so thankful to everybody, and I want to just express my gratitude to every single individual person that was there.
In that gratitude, the hope that others will learn from this.
And there's a lot of confusing messaging out there about the safety of these trails.
And be extra prepared for any hike, no matter what trail they take.
It kind of has made me more humble and more aware of how careful I need to be.
It took volunteers about 2 hours to lead the hikers down to safety. They reached the parking lot around 5 a.m. The hikers started their adventure around noon, so obviously an exhausting day. We really appreciate everyone for taking time to talk with us. David.
Yeah, we certainly do, and I think that story makes us all a bit more humble tonight. Thanks, Catherine. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now. Authorities have arrested the suspect in this surveillance video who they say started a fire outside a Northwest Portland restaurant, causing significant damage. Portland Fire and Rescue identifying her as 56-year-old Catherine Stowe. They say she was using an open flame as a light source to look inside garbage cans outside Elephant's Deli. They say she unintentionally sparked the fire, which spread to the building at Northwest 22nd and Davis early Tuesday morning. No one was injured. Stowe is charged with reckless burning and criminal mischief. New tonight, Washington State Senate passed the so-called millionaire's tax, which means all the bill now needs is the governor's signature. This would be the state's first income tax, levying 9.9% starting in 2029 on income above $1 million a year. Republicans worry the tax could eventually be expanded, something Democrats say will not happen. Governor Bob Ferguson said last week he intends to sign this bill. A Marion County judge ruled today Oregon's controversial transportation tax package can stay on the May ballot. State Republicans sued after Democrats passed a bill that moved the referendum from November to May. They argued the move to the May primary, when turnout is lower, was simply playing politics in an effort to distance Governor Tina Kotek, who is up for re-election, from the tax issue. Democrats pushed back, saying a quicker vote would help ODOT finalize its budget. And all Portland Community College campuses are closed, with thousands of staff now on strike, the first community college strike in Oregon history. Union members say they're looking for an annual pay increase of 3% over 2 years, citing a need for a living wage. But PCC says it's been dealing with a multi-million-dollar budget deficit, declining enrollment, and has already cut pay for some managers and non-union employees. Mediation here set to resume on Monday. To a sense of closure tonight for the widow of a Vancouver police officer shot and killed by a deputy when he was mistaken for a robbery suspect. Alma McCarty's here in Alma. We're talking about a multi-million-dollar settlement from Clark County, a case that has been incredibly difficult for so many and has stretched on for years.
Yeah, David, a Clark County deputy shot and killed Officer Donald Sahota in 2022. His widow filed a lawsuit alleging negligence not only by the deputy who fired his gun, but the county as well. Now her attorney tells me this settlement serves as a big step forward in the healing process.
Mrs. Sahota has been through more than I can describe. She lost her husband, there was a criminal prosecution, and then there was the civil litigation.
And now, 4 years after Officer Donald Sahota was shot and killed outside his own home in Clark County, a multi-million-dollar settlement in that civil case.
The best the civil justice system can do is accountability, compensation, and closure. We accomplished that.
On January 29th, 2022, the sheriff's office was pursuing a robbery suspect, Julio Segura, from Orchards to Battleground.
This person's now running towards the residence there.
And Segura ended up at Sahota's house. Aerial video showed the two struggle outside in the driveway as Sahota's wife called 911. When deputies arrived on scene, one of them quickly got out of his car and shot the off-duty Vancouver police officer.
This was a tragic case where a deputy sheriff simply shot the wrong guy.
In May 2024, Segura was found guilty of murder and sentenced to more than 29 years in prison. Donnie Sahota spoke in court during his sentencing.
My heart has been ripped out of my chest. I am shattered, lost. The defendant not only took away my person, the love of my life, my everything, but also he took my home, my peace, my identity, my sense of place, my purpose.
The deputy who fired the shots that killed Sahota did not face criminal charges. On Wednesday, County Council unanimously approved the settlement of $7.5 million.
We appreciate that the county resolved this fairly and, relatively speaking, quickly.
A statement on behalf of Clark County reads, in part, the county and its employees wish nothing but the best for the Sahota family and hope this settlement can bring some form of closure for the loss of their loved one. David.
4 years on. Alma, appreciate your reporting.